Namaste, angels. I'm here to do a reading for Earth Day, which is Saturday, April 22nd. I'll start with the significant events. In the year 1500, Pedro Alvarez Cabral discovers Brazil and claims it for Portugal. 1903, Highlanders, Yankees, so they were the Highlanders, now they're the Yankees, their first game in New York at Hilltop Park versus the Washington Senators. They lose 3-1 before 11,950 people that were present. 1915, first military use of poison gas. In parenthesis, they have chlorine by Germany in World War One. Our current administration, as they call it, recently said that this type of thing hadn't happened in history. 1993, Holocaust Memorial Museum is dedicated in Washington, D.C. 1994, 7,000 Tutsis are slaughtered by Hutu in the stadium in Kivu, Rwanda. 2006, 243 people are injured in a pro-democracy protest in Nepal after Nepali security forces opened fire on protesters against King Gyanendra. Gyanendra, Gyanendra. I was bound to get tongue-tied sooner or later. 2016, Paris Agreement on Climate Change is signed in New York, binding 195 nations to an increase in the global average temperature to less than 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, and to pursue efforts to limit the increase to 1.5 degrees Celsius. This is also being avoided by our current administration, as they call it. Did you know more than 3.3 million is stolen from the First National Bank of Arizona in Tucson in the then largest U.S. bank robbery in history? This happened on April 22nd in 1981. Famous birthdays: Vladimir Lenin, Robert Oppenheimer, Eddie Albert, Betty Page, Jack Nicholson, and Daniel Johns. Famous weddings: 1887, which is 888. Business magnate Andrew Carnegie, who's 51, weds Louise Whitfield, who is 30, in New York City, New York. I'm doing this reading on the 8th, by the way. It's Friday, April 21st at 1:20 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. 1939, actor and naval officer of World War II, Douglas Fairbanks Jr., who was 29, weds Huntington Hartford's former wife, Mary Lee Hartford. 1995, Extra TV co-host Arthur Neville, 32, weds Carolina Panther running back Derek Lassick, who's only 25. They got married at Our Lady of Guadalupe Church. 2000, NFL football player Emmitt Smith, 31, weds Miss Virginia, USA, a beauty queen. Her name was Patricia Southall. She was 29. 2003, Star Trek Enterprise actress Jolene Blacklock, 28, weds Live Nation CEO Michael Rapino in Negril, Jamaica. Famous divorces: 1993, tennis star Bjorn Borg divorces Loredana Berthe. Famous deaths: Anne Bonny, Henry Campbell Bannerman, Ansel Adams, Emilio G. Segre, Cesar Chavez, and Richard Nixon. Richard Nixon was American and the 37th president. He was a Republican and had previously been vice president and senator from California. His presidential term went from January 20th, 1969 through August 9th, 1974. He was preceded by Lyndon B. Johnson and succeeded by Gerald Ford. Although he was president, the president who had to withdraw from the U.S. from Vietnam, he is best remembered because of the Watergate. I was about to say Westgate, which is which is a vacation property. The Watergate scandal. Facing impeachment, he resigned the presidency. He eventually apologized to the American people in an interview with David Frost. He was born on January 9th in 1913 and was a Capricorn from Yorba Linda, California, USA. He died on April 22nd in 1994 at the age of 81 of a stroke. Cesar Chavez was Mexican American. He was a farm labor leader. He co-founded the National Farm Workers Association. He was born on March 31st in 1927 and was an Aries from Yuma, Arizona, USA. He died on April 22nd in 1993 at the age of 66. Emilio G. Segre was Italian, a physicist and a Nobel laureate. He discovered the elements of technetium, astatine, and the subatomic antiparticle antiproton, for which he was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1959. He was born on January 30th in 1905 and was from Tivoli, Italy. He was an Aquarius from there. He died on April 22nd in 1989 at the age of 84 of a heart attack. Ansel Adams was American and a photographer. He's famous for his black and white landscape photographs of the American West, especially Yosemite National Park, which has been widely reproduced on calendars, posters, and books. He was born on February 20th in 1902 and was a Pisces from San Francisco, California, USA. He died on April 22nd in 1984 at the age of 82 of cardiovascular disease. Henry Campbell Bannerman was British and a prime minister. He was the leader of the Liberal Party from 1899 or 999 to 1908 or 99. And he was a British prime minister from 1905 to 1908. A firm believer in free trade, Irish home rule, and the improvement of social conditions, Campbell Bannerman has been referred to as Britain's first and only radical prime minister. Following a general election defeat in 1900, Campbell Bannerman led the Liberal Party to a landslide victory over the Conservative Party at the 1906 general election. The government he led passed legislation to ensure trade unions could not be held liable for damages incurred during strike action. He introduced free school meals for all children and empowered local authorities to purchase agriculture land from private landlords. Campbell Bannerman resigned as prime minister on the 3rd of April in 1908 due to ill health and was replaced by his chancellor, H. Asquith. He died 19 days later. He was born on September 7th in the year 1836, which is also 99, and was a Virgo from Glasgow, Scotland, United Kingdom. He died on April 22nd in 1908 at the age, which is again 99, at the age of 71 of a heart attack. Anne Bonny was Irish and a pirate, a famous pirate in the Caribbean, Pirates of the Caribbean, between 1718 and 1720. She fought under the command of Calico Jack. She was born near Cork, Ireland, probably sometime around 1700, the result of a scandalous affair between an English lawyer and his maid. He was eventually forced to bring Anne and her mother to America to escape the gossip that her birth had created. Together with fellow female pirate Mary Read, she was one of Rackham's most formidable pirates, fighting, cursing, and drinking with the best of them. She was captured along with the rest of Rackham's crew in 1720 and sentenced to death, although her sentence was commuted because she was pregnant. Bonny has also been the inspiration for numerous stories, books, movies, and songs over the year. She was born on March 8th in 1702 and was a Pisces from Kinsale, Ireland. She died on April 22nd in 1782 at the age of 80. Going up to the birthdays, Daniel Johns. Wait, did I just see something about Westgate? What in the world? I have to look when I go back because I already clicked on Daniel Johns. Daniel Johns is Australian and a musician. He was the former frontman of the Australian rock band Silverchair, and he's also one half of the Disassociatives with Paul Mac. He was born on April 22nd in 1979. I have not been drinking, I promise. I don't know what's happening right now. And is 37 years old, a tourist from Newcastle, New South Wales, Australia. Okay, let me go back down. I think I actually saw West End Cottage. I'm like, did I just see something about Westgate? In the monthly things at the bottom, they have something here called West End Cottage. This cottage was built in 1553, and the following victims of the plague died here, and they have a list of people. It's one of the special articles. Great sacrifice of a plague-ridden village. William Mompesson, a clergyman born on this day, created a legend when he persuaded the people in a plague-ridden village to sacrifice their lives to save others. This happened on April 28th in 1639. All right, I'm going back up. Jack Nicholson is American and an actor. He's famous for As Good as It Gets and The Shining. He was born on April 22nd in 1937 and is 79 years old, a tourist from Neptune City, New Jersey, USA, and he's famous for a lot more than 2 movies. I'm just going to say. Betty Page was American, and she was the queen of pinups, often referred to as the queen of pinups. Her jet black hair and blue eyes, like my granny, except my granny's black. This woman is not. she's a white woman. Jet black hair, blue eyes, and trademark fringe bangs have influenced artists for generations and made her famous in the 1950s. She was born on April 22nd in 1923 and was a tourist from Nashville, Tennessee, USA. She died on December 11th in the year 2008 at the age of 85 or 13 or 4 or 11. Eddie Albert was also American and an actor. He's famous for Roman Holiday and The Heartbreak Kid. He was famous for some show that used to come on too. I remember seeing reruns of it as a kid, but I don't remember what the name of it was. But he was the father. Anyway, he was born on April 22nd in 1906 and was a tourist from Rock Island, Illinois, USA. He died on May 26 in 2005 at the age of 99 of pneumonia. 9, a very prevalent number today. Well, actually, the day for which this reading is a 9. Am I right? April 21st. Oh, no, it's a 6. It's a 6. Anyway, Robert Oppenheimer is next. Robert Oppenheimer, or Julius Robert Oppenheimer, is American and a physicist, father of the atomic bomb. He's famous because he was a theoretical physicist who is often referred to or called the father of the atomic bomb for his role in the Manhattan Project for the World War II project that was developed and that produced the first nuclear weapons. He was born on April 22nd in 1904 and was a tourist from New York City, New York. He died on February 18th in the year 1967 at the age of 62. Cause of death was throat cancer. And lastly, Vladimir Lenin was Russian and a Marxist revolutionary as well as a Soviet leader. He's famous because he played a leading role in the October Revolution of 1917, overthrowing the provisional government and establishing a one-party state under a new communist party that became the Soviet Union. Vladimir Lenin became interested in Marxism while at university and was later exiled to Siberia for sedition. After traveling through Europe, Lenin returned to Russia to join the 1917 Russian Revolution, writing his April thesis for the Bolshevik Party on the way. In power, Lenin began reforms to shift crown and private estates into Soviet workers' control. He consolidated power through imposing censorship and authorizing the Red Terror. His ideology as a Marxist and his political theories are known as Leninism. On his death in 1924, St. Petersburg was renamed Leningrad in his honor, and his body was embalmed and placed on display in a mausoleum in Red Square. He was born on April 22nd in 1870, which is 88, and was a tourist from Simberk, Russia. He died on January 21st in 1924 at the age of 53 only of a stroke. Okay, so very prevalent numbers today, 99 and 88, although the day is a 6. Okay. We're beginning with buy shoes, stay in bed, and email with the dice. Spirit says try again. Spend money. And he's still saying weekend away. Nice. Email to arrange it. Maybe the star will show up again, or maybe that's why the star has been showing up, because we're encouraged to contact one another electronically, and that's what the star card in the tarot represents, at least for me. Okay, so I want to say to you guys who have lost loved ones this week, many particularly on Thursday, although I saw that this was going to happen in the general as well as that daily that I did for Thursday. And I've heard back from some of you that, you know, that this has happened. So I want to extend my condolences from me and mine to you and yours. Also, Cuba Gooding Jr.'s father, who was a celebrity in his own right, an R&B singer, died suddenly Thursday night. All of this occurring in the lives of our brothers and sisters out there, but also in Cuba Gooding Jr.'s life on the day that I was shown that it would. That's why I get so like choked up when I see the card and I pause and I get, because it changes my mood instantly. Because I know I have to say this and I know it's going to come true. As much as it bothers me for that reason, in that respect, because I know that it means someone is losing someone they love. Someone somewhere is losing someone they love. At the same time, I know that it is happening and God is showing me, because it's a reminder that He is who He is, and that, He's watching. He's here to remind the world that He's who He is and that He's watching. And, it's also a demonstration and a testament to who I am, too, that I am who I say I am. And I am those things by His grace. So that's why He first shows His power and authority over us, dominion. That any day, just like that, it's the blink of an eye, we lose somebody. So again, to those of you whom that's happened, I extend my warmest regards. We're beginning today with the Ace of Water, who is a Pisces, a Scorpio, or a Cancer. Falling in love, or the resurgence of a relationship, spiritual growth and enhanced intuition, maybe even a new home. I shuffled this card opposite first, the Three of Air. And I said, oh, because I've also heard back from quite a few of you who experienced this situation with the baby that, was produced on one side or the other outside of the relationship, and you're trying to come together anyway. A bunch of you contacted me about that too. That came up in the, I think, kind of in the Thursday, and then definitely it was back in the Friday. It was the feminine was going to perhaps feel 5 of waterish, melancholy, because there was a reconciliation. The masculine was coming back, but he had news of a baby too. I also shuffle this card opposite the Two of Water, after that. So, for some, there is, some heartbreak attached to this, or to a new beginning. And that perhaps involves a child or children. And for others, this is purely about a new start to love, in your life, a new romantic relationship, or your romantic relationship renewed. It is anew. Opening 2, the 2 of Earth. Too much work is going on at once. The need to make a decision. Okay, consider carefully so you can make a more come with a more playful approach, right? Stop coming so serious. This card can also be about yeah, too much work. Like all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, Jill a dull girl. And having to find the balance, because this card very much about balance too, between like career and home life, making sure we always have time for those loved ones and for the things that we appreciate and for ourselves too. You know, you got to balance that also. And to get out into nature, and I think I'm supposed to mention that, especially today, you know, with this reading being for Earth Day. I'm shuffling it now here opposite the Ace of Water. So, I mean, it can mean a decision about this relationship with regard to the earthly, perhaps like where you're going to live, all that kind of thing. You know, whatever is attached to earth. Where you're going to work, how much are you working? Is it too much? Do you need to get back to the relationship? Do you need to get back to you? All those things. Opening now to ego with Archangel Jophiel. So maybe the answer for some is working too much. A false sense of entrapment, being overly focused on material things, negative or fear-based thoughts. For others, this Ace of Water opposite the Devil is, again, the, you know, feeling bound because of a child, feeling bound, trapped. You're not trapped. Ego of the Devil now at the bottom. You know, it's funny because the 2 of Earth is back. That's funny too. But it's funny when we feel trapped, it's because of like what people are going to think, right? If I don't stay with the father of my children, if I don't stay with the mother of my children, if I don't marry this woman, even though we have no, you know, relationship otherwise, you know, we had sex that one time and she got pregnant. If I don't, you know, move her in with me or whatever, what are the neighbors and everybody going to think? We don't care what the universe thinks. That's what that means. When we like ignore the fact that we've, you know, had a calling put upon us, that we're among the elect, among the chosen, and we have a mission, and we know we ignore our own heart and the fact that we have a love somewhere to do these things to impress other, you know, human beings. It means that we're not interested, you know, or as concerned with impressing God. And again, He will show us, He will remind us that He's here. And, you know, who has the authority? Whose, you know, opinion, so to speak, really matters. He will remind us. He will show us. 2 of Earth is back. People are juggling. This also, as you guys know, those of you who've been watching me for a while, for me is it can represent deja vu from hell. It can represent that feeling of coming back again and again and again to the same crossroad. And, you know, the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. It's not going to change. You have to change. You got to change, you know, your response, change what you're doing, change your action if you want the outcome to change too. Otherwise, we're both just crazy. Nice. The overall energy is the 2 of Fire. You've come into your own. New partnerships or contracts continue to move forward. Masculine is the Queen of Air, who's independent, experienced, realistic, and witty. Maybe he's cutting away what doesn't serve him because she's good at that. She's also good at objective decision making and seeing the humor in a situation. The Queen of Air is an Aquarius, like I started talking about in the beginning, a Gemini, or a Libra. Woo! Ooh, speaking of Libra, it's justice surrounding the masculine. So he's about to do the right thing, or at least the righteous thing, which is maybe not move that woman in or marry that girl, because she's pregnant or whatever. Unless that is the righteous thing to do, unless that's what God, put on him to do and put in him to do. If it's because of what, the lady next door, the nosy neighbor, put on him to do, he's not to do that. Fair and just decisions. Do what you know is right. Stand up for your beliefs. May involve a Libra or other air sign. In his subconscious, this is also going to be, coming forward, It can also be finally making a decision to do that too. And to say, and if our readings from the previous days have anything to say about it, it very well could mean that, because they showed, certainly coming forward and maybe even proposing. That can be what he feels is the right thing to do right now, the righteous thing to do. And he'd be right if, he's moving forward to the person, to whom he's connected under the universe, under God. In his subconscious, here is the Four of Fire, which certainly could mean that. Contentment, peace, and abundance, a happy home life, and the successful completion of a project. This card is the 11 here. It's all about contentment, peace, abundance, but also commitment. Happy home. It's like a hearth and home card. Sitting here under justice, it can certainly be a marriage, or a divorce. It can be cutting away a bad marriage so that you can find your peace again. It will apply to different people differently, since this is a general reading for the entire collective. The feminine is the king of earth. Nice. Generous, professional. See, I felt earthy. Actually, I went into the nail salon because I have acrylic atop these are my real nails, and I have acrylic atop them. The acrylic on this one had cracked, and I wanted to hurry up and get into the nail salon before my nail actually cracked. So I wandered in there, and I said, you know what? I have green polish in my purse. Let me use the green. I had the green, the blue, and I still had the yellow in there too. I pulled out like 5 green polishes. I said, well, let's just put one on each finger. So that's what's going on here. The King of Earth is generous, professional, responsible, and practical, and really awesome to see him for Earth Day too. A successful time. Confidently accept opportunities you're offered. You have the Midas touch. The King of Earth is the Capricorn, like that ego or devil card that we started with, or a Virgo or Taurus, which is official now, certainly official. There's always somebody who says, oh no, this is cusp, or it's still the other sign. Like we're still in Aries. No, we're 22nd. By the 22nd, we're officially Taurus now, if you ask me. Okay, the feminine surrounding her is the Knight of Fire, who's passionate, adventurous, self-assured, and restless. A sudden event that needs immediate attention. Time is of the essence. Think things through carefully. The Knight of Fire is speaking of Aries, possibly an Aries, a Sagittarius, or even a Leo. In the feminine subconscious, I like these cards so far. It's the Eight of Water, a desire to move on, the search for something more meaningful, spiritual and emotional growth. She's ready to do positive things. And so if they're both living right and righteous right now, this is such a beautiful time to come together. I can't wait to see what's in the middle. I hope it's in keeping with the current theme. Crowning the union. Okay. It's the Ten of Air, the end of a difficult situation. So maybe it's this, again, bad marriage. Embrace the change and expect things to get better now. Expect to find your peace. You may even be recovering from an addiction or other codependency, like a bad relationship. Feminine, for you, it sits here next to the King of Earth. You may have been experiencing some financial material lack before, that coming to an end. You may have been in need of some passion in your life. It was dull, but that coming to an end. You may have been like stagnant in your own emotional growth, spiritual growth. this feeling stifled and stuck and not knowing, like, who am I, what am I, where am I, and that coming to an end too. For others, this had to certainly do with a feeling of being backstabbed, having been betrayed. You're getting your justice now. It may even involve a court case, something, some kind of sort of legality other than divorce. It can even be like a friend or something who you feel stabbed you in the back. You had to, sue or something. Anybody that could owe you something in some sort of legal battle. Okay, justice coming to you, and again, you'll find your peace and abundance as a result. At the root, it's the page of fire, who, if you ask me, is a Sagittarius, but can also be a Leo or an Aries, like the Knight. Outgoing, creative, confident, and mischievous is the page of fire. News of an exciting new endeavor. Use your originality and ingenuity. The page, or pages in general, they always bring news, right? The page of fire brings news of opportunity. This can be an opportunity to purchase a home. Okay, and that could be why it's crossing justice too. This is a legal process, the closing on a home or something like that. This could be selling your home. Maybe that's what makes you abundant. I mean, you can be made abundant by the asset of a new home, or you can be made abundant by unloading it on somebody else and they pay you cash, But that's certainly that going on for some of you. And then maybe you're physically moving, not just moving on, but you're moving into a new home or moving out of your home, and because somebody else is going to move into it. Maybe you're doing that with your partner. Maybe you're getting out of your own place where you were as a single, or where you were living with your parents. You hadn't moved out, yet, or maybe you moved back home for whatever reason. No judgment here. People have to do it all the time. People are moving in with their children. Maybe that's the case for you, and you're having to do that, or any other relative or whatever. And now that's changing. Instead, you're going to be moving in with your love. The two of you are going to be finding this 2 + 4 = 6 = love together. Very passionate relationship, I might add too. And when I pick that up, underneath it is the King of Water, who's trustworthy, compassionate, respected, and cultured. Open your heart and mind to those around you. Trustworthy and heartfelt advice and charity work. So underneath that is the Page of Air in reverse. Perhaps this situation was supposed to happen before. It had been delayed. But now, delays are over. And here the Page of Fire is with the opportunity, because delays are over. That's one possibility. For others, I guess the Page of Air could be coming to warn of a delay, or, of the energy is near. Okay, but it's upside down. Could be coming to warn of a delay. Could be coming to, lay something on you. It could be coming to encourage you to lay something on somebody else. Page of Air just spits stuff out and just blurts it out. They have to say challenging information, delays or changes to plans, and truth delivered without tact can all come from the Page of Air. Atop that, underneath that, in the upright, but even more distant than this energy, is the Page of Earth. So some people might be waiting on this, and that can be what's delayed. That's a possibility too. Page of Earth is scholarly, dependable, patient, and successful. Good news about financial matters, wanting to do something more challenging, and maybe even a new area of study. Some people may be waiting to see if they got accepted into a particular program, vocation, school, things of that nature. And then the Three of Water, they're upside down. Maybe when you find out after your delay is over, you'll be celebrating the fact that you did. We're getting back to this. Look what's back at the heart of the matter. Wow, it's the Ace of Water. Falling in love, or the resurgence of a relationship, spiritual growth, and enhanced intuition, maybe even a new home. With the Ace of Water crossing the Four of Fire, it's certainly a new home for some of you. And again, for some, it's a new home for the two. So congratulations on that. Nothing's negative really, but this is upright. So I'm going to use it to clarify further the Ten of Air, what that can be about for some. Party of three, perhaps, or lack. Okay. The Three of Earth, the power of creativity, recognition for very high quality work. Be a team player. So there could have been a feeling of lack, There could have been actual lack. The Three of Earth is that card that represents, again, the fact that you're supposed to be getting a promotion, a raise, or whatever. So maybe it was delayed. Maybe, you got stabbed in the back. They gave it to somebody else, your promotion, your raise, and you're like, what and you've been waiting. And maybe that's why the Page of Air had come through other times before. But all of that over now, you've got a new opportunity, and here the money is. For others, yeah, a party of three potentially. Doesn't have to be romantic, but that's a possibility too. It could still have something to do with work, and maybe this third person is a backstabber, for one way or another. They took credit for your work or something, and that caused a problem, that caused a delay in your opportunity. You're cutting them out of your life now. They're no longer your friend. Maybe you had to sue them again. Maybe you had to sue the job. They owe you money. You were, fired without just cause, or something went on with a third party at the job, or third energy. The job itself can be the third. And for others, it was just a feeling of lack, and maybe again tied into some other sort of relationship where you felt bound and you felt like you had to be part of a team that you no longer wanted to be on, and your funds were all tied up, and because this is ending, boom, you get them back. Feminine, similarly for you, because this 10 of air crowns, it applies to both of us, so we could have had a situation too where a third energy had kept us from bringing us this money, bringing us this material abundance, bringing us this new beginning. Maybe we've been waiting to get this house for a long time. We're finally getting it. The Page of Fire, the Knight of Fire come running to say, you got the house. You're the king of earth. This has finally worked out. Here's your promotion from the universe promoting you, God promoting you, giving you a new blessing. Next card is upright too. You want to know anything else? Let's see. Justice. The Sun. Happy outcome. Brilliant new ideas that lead to success. Have confidence in yourself. So if you thought that maybe this wasn't going to go your way, even though, that's what the Justice card means, especially upright, and that things are going to go your way. If you still thought it wasn't, here's a reconfirmation. All's well, certainly that ends well, at least, even if it was a difficult situation. Again, that's ending, and expect things to get better. Expect the sun to shine on you again. I'll do the Ace of Water too. So for a good bit, it's a feeling of being bound to whatever this is. Or like overly concerned with money, or your lack. But again, that's coming to an end. The sun, it sits next to the sun. For some, it does have to do with children. Is the Six of Water. So you felt stuck or something, but it all works out in the end. Memories from your history or childhood, issues regarding children, romanticizing the past. So the issue regarding children is perhaps similar to one that one of you guys out there told me about today. This is a male who, I think today was the first time that I told him that I always felt that his female, he's in a heterosexual relationship, I always felt the female carried the majority masculine energy. I never said anything, but she actually, he commented, became pregnant with someone else's baby and then tried to come back to him, and but he was hurt, understandably so. But I think that he was playing the part in a sense of that Five of Water, and it's an issue regarding children that can work out. Like yes, she made a mistake. Yes, it's hurtful. Yes, but we remember seeing the positive in that same situation, seeing the blessing in that same situation. She was coming to him, with her truth, basically admitting the mistake and attempting, a reconciliation. So hopefully he just needs a little time, and you know, he knows that the sun is going to shine on that situation again. It's going to shine on him again. And, you know, he has a new stepchild. Um, that's just one example. But that it's that sort of thing that everything works out just fine. For some of you, maybe you're fighting for custody, masculine, or you're in a battle, like a child support, a family court thing, okay, involving a third person, which is, you know, the mother of the child or the father of the child, you know, whichever is the opposite of what you are. You're gonna win. Whatever the situation is, you're gonna win. For some, it's DNA. You know, yet again, this thing happened. This thing coming up with the DNA. So it's a child. Yeah, you made a mistake. Yeah, you feel bound because you were with somebody else outside of the relationship, and so you were stuck. But this child is not yours. You know, and so you're being relieved. Your money's not being affected. It's being released back to you. You won't be having to pay, you know, support for this child, you know, all that kind of thing. There's a few different scenarios, again, because it's a general reading and it's for the entire collective. But the most important part is that it ends up well. Justice is on our side. We find peace, abundance at the end, contentment. We cut off what doesn't work for us anymore or serve us. We may even be ending up with a new home, certainly with new love or renewed love, one way or another. Some material stuff as well that might not be so bad. Also, I'm getting the feeling now with this devil card, for some of you, this is the sexual activity, okay, that's going to come up with this relationship anew, or, you know, renewed or newfound love. That's all good. And then you two will produce the child. Okay? But you'll be able to do that because everything is coming up roses and going your way and is on our side. And this is our time. This is our time. I don't know why I was moved to do this, but I was. Look at this. When you hear spirit whispering in your ear, don't ignore it. I mean, if that happens, or however you get notification about, you know, I know we all have gifts to varying degrees. I know people's are not like mine. Again, you know, there's a reason why, again, I'm the only one, you know, predicting passings and things like that. But at the same time, we do all have our gifts, and we have unique ways that we receive the information. So I was just receiving information to pick up cards randomly, again. And look what's here. I was saying maybe that's why they wanted me to see this Three of Water. A celebration, a wedding, a graduation, a birth announcement. Need to have more fun. You know what's under this? Boom. Okay, so some of you will be getting pregnant. Lavish abundance. Give birth to your dreams. Nurture yourself and others. Others will be, giving birth to you. You'll be coming together in partnership again, and creating things together. It's totally 8. Like if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. If, you know, it's about building together, build, destroy. We're building together. We're creating. Okay, we're not destroying. We're not breaking down. There is evidence of the other scenario that I presented too, though. Underneath it is awakening, or the hanged man. So it's a situation of being in limbo, and the need to take a step back and look at the situation again, and, you know, assess it. Just assess it, you know, for yourself, for your own personal, peace, for your peace. Let me look at this again. Let me think about it again and consider what I want to do. But it just keeps getting better and better. Underneath that is the Ace of Earth. So the inflow of abundance, a promising business venture, important documents or contracts. And that Two of Earth that I started with back again. I mean, it's just all the cards that I talked about. Here's the Three of Air that I said I shuffled opposite the Ace of Water. For some people, you know, there was going to be sadness attached. Different scenarios for everybody, but again, at the end, happiness. Happiness. All right, let's get some advice. wanted to get some also from my numerology deck, beginning with individuality, opening here to forgiveness, which would come into play, wherever the heartache was, for those that had to experience that. Individuality back, opening to spiritual partnership. Boom. Spiritual partnership back, opening to leadership. Leadership now, and rebirth, right? Love anew, relationships reborn, just transformation, everything coming up roses, everything better now. Like Earth, right? Like how, we're celebrating Earth Day, like, spring comes and it's just new growth, and everything else is what's dead, we let it go. We don't mourn anymore, like, the leaves and the grass and the trees from the year prior. We just take in the beauty of the new plants, the new flowers. Rebirth. I'm going to cut. That rebirth card is also very Queen of Air and potentially very King of Water. This could be a Scorpio. Change. This is what's coming to us all. And domestic harmony. Two of fire plus 4 of fire equals 6 of fire equals love. Victory. That's what's coming to everybody. This is our overall energy here. And, they're very earthy. Oh, beginning with motivation. So this thing to which we want to give birth, whether it's an idea, our relationship, a renewed commitment, or an actual baby. All of this is, can be our motivation. And end of an era where we're letting something go, right? We're expecting things to get better now. We're releasing the past. That's what the Queen of Air comes through to do. Cut it away. That can be a motivator too. Motivation back. Opening now to leaving. Leaving the past behind. Moving on. Like the 8 of Wands. Moving on. That could be a motivation as well. Leaving is back. I'll go one more. Moving. Okay, moving. Maybe into a new home, or maybe just moving on, or maybe both. We're moving on, and so we're going to go ahead and move into a new home. Move into a new situation with our partner, with this 2 of fire, with this Ace of water. Now I have moving opposite leaving. Leaving the past, that an era that has ended, leaving it in the past, leaving it where it is, moving on, moving forward. Leaving this back. I'm going to cut. Join in. This is about voluntarily doing what's right and righteous. You think about it, you decide, and you volunteer to be part of the team, to build together, to co-create, to not destroy. And the overall energy is finances, just like it was, I think, for the Friday reading, or finances. Oh, that came up for the feminine specifically, finances and career. But yeah, it's the overall energy, and it's, I think, what a lot of this was about. And that's why, again, this 3 of Earth comes out to clarify here, because it's about there was a potential lack. There was a concern about material, about money, about being tied to something or someone um, for monetary reasons. And now we're free of this. I hope you got. I mean, I don't know. Because there was death today, and I've just been hearing about it all day. People saying, "Oh, you said, you said this," and yeah, I lost my cousin. I lost um, somebody's mother, lost their friend. But there was like a family friend. Um, I can't even think of them all. There really was quite a few, and so I know that I'm a little, at least internally, flat, like melancholy. So I'm trying to not let that come through. Um, but I don't know if I was upbeat enough that you guys realize that we have these overall energies of domestic harmony and the two of fire. And the four of fire showing up on the table, and the ace of water, and the ace of earth near, and the knight of fire, and the page of fire, and the king of earth, and the sun, and justice, all in the same spread. I don't know if I was clear about that. I don't think I was. All right, the butterflies say to the masculine, gracefully aging. This is about you maturing, masculine. This is about you growing. This is about you moving up. Um, this is about you ascending, changing, transforming, rebirth. Maybe you went in as a boy and you came out as a man for some of you. And this, your most recent um, shift that you've experienced. Feminine, courage. Some Every time things look this beautiful, we get scared, because it's new. People have a tendency to be afraid of the unknown. Um, how is it going to be when we move in together? Am I doing the right thing? Having a baby, can we afford it? Am I really going to be king of earth? Did I do the right thing cutting off that old friend or family member or whatever that I feel has been mistreating me for years? But is it okay that I cut them off and we're related? All of these kind of things. You have the strength here. You have the courage. They say that the universe doesn't give us like what we can't deal with. So this means it believes that you are strong enough to face all of this. And when you look at it like this, it's really nothing negative to face. This is all good. This is, if you feel anything, any kind of harm or pain from any of this, I expect that expect things to get better. That's going to be released from you. It's not going to stay. It's going to be a very temporary energy, maybe like the hangman. And then you'll feel better because you'll realize, you'll count your blessings. You won't have a choice but to when you realize all that's surrounding you. Masculine, communication. It's time for you to pick up the phone, baby. For some of you. Or maybe you're receiving communication. Maybe you're getting an email. Perhaps from an Aquarius or other air sign, a Libra, a Gemini. We had that come up. Definitely you guys, or we, can be impacted maybe particularly by, actually it's all the signs, it's all the elements today, because I started out with the air, the Queen of Air, and the Libra, the Justice. And then here we have this fire, but we have this is certainly a fire sign energy, or that element coming through. The King of Earth here, and the King of Water sitting right here underneath the Two of Fire. So it's all of the elements, whomever we're, interested in, or, with whomever we are in a situation, a relationship. This reading can apply to everybody in positive ways on this day. Sometimes there'll be something negative for one and positive for the other, such is life. But this reading, it looks like for everybody, every element is just happy. From the Angels, masculine. You may be getting an offer. You may be making an offer. Um, both of those far more positive than missing an opportunity, discontentment, or boredom. But if you're feeling that way, please instead open your eyes to the possibilities. Feminine, from the numerology deck, adventure. Remember, the first 5 was for change. Now you're getting double 5s because you're getting a new start. These 2 5s together equal a 10. It's a 1. It's a new beginning. Okay, an adventure, a fun, new, exciting beginning, something you've never experienced before. It's going to be an adventure. But again, just courage. Courage in the face of the unknown. You'll love it. And lastly, you're releasing some stuff too. You should expect things to get better too. There had been too much work. Okay, you hadn't been accepting help from others. Life was out of balance for you, and that leads to stress-related concerns. Maybe, maybe difficulty with a fire sign. Doesn't have to be. Maybe you felt burdened. Maybe you felt burdensome. Some of you still feeling this way right now. Maybe that's why you're afraid to move forward. I don't want to become a burden on him now. I don't want to become a burden, leave this situation of being a burden here and I become a burden there instead. Or my kids do, or we all do as a package deal or whatever. Again, I say to you, courage. This is what the universe wants for us all. This. I hope that you guys enjoy the daily reading and have a wonderful Earth Day. Get out there into the earth and nature if you're able to. Namaste, angels.